All right, Joe, this was a great night here at the OSWA. May 18th will definitely be something that we will definitely remember down the road.
Absolutely, PK. We had some amazing matches tonight.
Some very physical matches, but I thought it was interesting how it all started out with the show coming out. Here's Zach Blaine. He just turned his back on his partner last week.
He didn't turn his back on him. He's just wanting to refocus his career.
What do you mean? He's trying to refocus his career by stabbing his old partner in the back? He takes his old Priceless Attraction tights, the tag team that brought his name into not only the OSWA, but into professional wrestling, and then takes it, puts it in a box, and then the show with Zach Blaine starts stomping on it. You don't think that's a sellout? You don't think that's stabbing people in the back that has brought him to this point?
No, I see it as a sort of a baptism. He's putting away the old. It's a symbolism of putting away the old, bringing in the new. He's finally getting rid of 250 pounds of dead weight, and now he can focus on his career and the way it really should go with him as a winner.
Man, I hope you and I never turn on each other, because I can only imagine what you think what I must be.
Oh.
Anyways, then the next match, of course, was a triple threat match, which we don't have here very often at OSWA, but when we do, it always pays off. Brozilla, Mick Fly, and Cody McCauley. And man, Brozilla's really coming into his own, you got to admit.
You know what, you're right. Brozilla, each week when I see him, each show when I see him, I tell you something, he gets better and better. But the worst I'm a big fan of, Cody McCauley. What a great warrior. He's out there. Yeah, absolutely.
Joe, like 4 weeks ago, you couldn't stand the guy. Now you love him?
I never said I couldn't stand him. What are you talking about? I just think, he's a high school kid. He's working hard. He's in a man's sport, and he's quickly becoming a man. I'm proud of him.
Well, so you're proud of him. Well, I like the part where Brozilla's hand gets raised in victory, and then Cody McCauley then comes back into the ring and hits him with an eclipse and a finishing maneuver. What kind of future champion is that?
Hey, he's just hungry for competition. And what better way to get someone to come after you than going after him first? Well, I think that's great planning on the part of Cody McCauley.
Well, then there was the next match, with Taco and Chimichanga, two masked luchadores that are both hail from Mexico.
Sure.
And it was a great match, but what I thought was kind of interesting was Taco comes out, the fans are like, yeah, his lowrider music comes on.
Oh, yeah.
The fans are cheering, and all of a sudden Chimichanga just attacks this guy from behind.
And I tell you something, PK, that was some high-flying action. I hadn't seen that much energy in a wrestling match in a long time.
I mean, it was a lot of back and forth, but I'll tell you something. When Taco hit Chimichanga with the superplex, and then he followed that up with a stunner, and then he goes up to the top rope, high risk versus high reward, and comes down with a flying chalupa for the 1-2-3 pin. But the best part of it, in my opinion, was when the two of them stood in the middle of that ring and basically congratulated each other for a great match. And to me, that embodies the true spirit of the luchadores that we used to watch when we were kids.
I think to me it embodies a love fest is what it is. I mean, they're competitors. They shouldn't be hugging and kissing one another and whatnot. They're there to fight.
I mean, Joe, it was great sportsmanship, and I have a hard time, but I'll tell you something, I think by far the most physical match of the night, based on the number of participants, was High Impact and Chad Silva versus The Show. And I'll tell you something, The Show rubs me wrong. They are so rude. Clint Eller, our commissioner, our boss, is out there interviewing our white trash and finding out why they came to Chad Silva's defense a couple of weeks ago after that match. And all of a sudden, here comes The Show's music, here comes Security Shane, who I've only seen the guy break a sweat once, so I don't know what he's securing. And then here comes Mr. Hollywood and, of course, Rod Bolt, and here's Zach Blaine all in his glory.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyways, so they come out here and interrupt. Well, then High Impact, they want their match. So they come out with Chad Silva because that's what was scheduled for the night. And man, the fight was on. I'll tell you something. It was a real good back and forth match. But what was interesting was Zach Blaine was very hesitant to get in the ring with Chad Silva. Did you notice that?
No, he wasn't. He's just waiting for the right moment.
I'd like to know what wrestling matches you were watching tonight, because I'll tell you something. Every time where Zach Blaine came in, or Chad Silva came in, Zach Blaine was quick to move out. In fact, right at the end of the match, if you remember right, Jamar Anderson, great wrestler, took a hell of a beating tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Jamar's in there, and he tags in Will Caution. Well, Will Caution, who isn't paying attention at the time because he's a little distracted, falls off the apron. Well, once he falls off the apron, okay, Chad Silva then comes in the ring. Zach Blaine sees him and hightails it like a chicken running from away from the guy that's going to cut his head off into the locker room.
Oh, you've got
and I would have loved to have seen the fight that ensued after that. And too bad we don't have any cameras in the locker room, but we do that for the privacy of our wrestling.
I would have loved to have seen Chad Silva laying on the ground knocked out too.
Wow, Joe, you've got some high expectations for Zach Blaine. But anyways,
realistic.
Off to CC Devlin versus Jimmy Lee. Now, this is by far the most comical match of the night.
Oh my gosh!
We got CC biting Jimmy Lee on the butt. But what was interesting was the turnaround of the tag team of the 24/7 championship.
Oh my gosh! I couldn't believe it. what was it, two title changes in one match.
Yes, in one match.
When do you get that anywhere else in the world of professional wrestling?
You don't get it anywhere else. Only here in the OSWA. And what was really interesting was, you know, CC, he was kind of playing it, and bam, he pins the referee at the time, Jimmy Lee. And you got to admit, that was pretty cool that he allowed Jimmy Lee to be the ref. So he pins Jimmy Lee. I mean, I'm sorry, he pins. I'm sorry.
What kind of matches are you watching here?
Yeah, okay, you got me on that one. So he pins Cody Fairview, right? And now he's the 24/7 champion, but he doesn't realize that the match is still going. So then Jimmy Lee pins CC Devlin, 1, 2, 3, and now becomes Jimmy Lee is now the 24/7 champion, keeping that championship within White Trash, the tag team.
You know, PK, I'll tell you something. Jimmy Lee, he is quite a wrestler, and you could be his brother, you could be his best friend. Don't ever turn your back on Jimmy Lee.
That's true. And then, you know, there was Z versus Goat Boy. And you know, I have to admit, Joe, when this match was first on the card, I was like, really? Goat Boy? But apparently Goat Boy seemed to have some desire to go up against the Monster Z, maybe because they both suffer from identity crisis. I don't know. But anyway, so he goes in there, and did you notice, did it seem to you that Goat Boy was kind of mocking Z at the beginning of the match?
I will say that. I'll tell you something. I think that was a big mistake.
Huge mistake.
Because I think he was kind of seeing this as a joke. Well, you know how Z is. I mean, he turned on the Monster, and, you know, Goat Boy, he paid for it very, very dearly.
I'll tell you something, the Monster Z has really developed. He developed very well under the White Knight. When he first came here, you know, we didn't really know what to make of Z. I kind of teased him a little bit, but man, the White Knight transformed that guy, and he's actually a really good Ultimate Champion. Tonight was his first defense, and man, he punished Goat Boy for going after him and mocking him like that. And man, when he hit him with that spine buster and the 1, 2, 3, man, Goat Boy was out. In fact, Taco rode him into the match. Taco was basically carrying him out of the match. That's how physical it was for Goat Boy.
Oh, I tell you something, man. Z, he is a man who just loves to hurt other people, and there's no remorse.
Oh, no remorse.
He's beholden to nobody.
I agree, except to maybe the White Knight. But last but not least, we have Jake Hughes versus the White Knight. Now, this was a very interesting match because there was a stipulation. The stipulation was that the White Knight, if he wins, gets to control the destiny of Jake Hughes in the OSWA. But I find that an interesting stipulation because the White Knight was ready to put in that stipulation, but he didn't want to put in the stipulation where if Jake Hughes wins, he then gets to control the White Knight. And I think there was a little bit of fear of doubt in the mind of the White Knight, and that's why that wasn't in there.
No, I just think it was none of his business.
None of his business. Jake Hughes is putting his career on the line.
No, he was dealing with his career. Jake Hughes could have made the same stipulation, I imagine.
Well, I'll tell you this much. When they were both counted out, and that match appeared to be over, I was like, well, man, looks like Jake Hughes gets to keep his career. All of a sudden, Jake Hughes goes to the ref, and he says, ring the bell and start this match over.
Oh, yeah, and what a stupid move on the part of Jacob Hughes.
I think it shows the fighting person that Jacob Hughes is, Joe. He wants to go out there, and he wanted to show the OSWA people that, you know what, I am beholden to no one, and I'm going to take out the White Knight. Now, then, granted, it backfired on him, but that's just the way Jake Hughes is, because he wants to show that he is the champion. He may not wear that belt, but he's got the heart of a champion, and unfortunately it cost him today.
Well, I'll tell you something, you know, I think it's a very good thing that the White Knight won.
Why is that?
Well, think about it. I mean, I think he really cares about Jake Hughes.
Okay, you got to elaborate on that. What do you mean cares about Jake Hughes?
Well, I think that he sees the talent of Jake Hughes, his ability, his strength, his ability, and he figured by beating him, which he knew he would, because let's face it, he's a superior athlete. And so, by beating Jake Hughes, he can now take him under his wing, and under the tutelage of the White Knight, the White Knight can now tailor his career and shape him and mold him into the wrestler that Jake should be.
So it wasn't like a thing of jealousy where, like, you know, the White Knight was jealous that Jake Hughes was the champion and kind of our #1 guy. You think it's because, out of true concern, that he really wants to make sure that he can be the best that he can be, the White Knight put in that stipulation.
He's the White Knight. He stands for truth and justice.
Wow.
He wants to see Jake Hughes be a popular and successful wrestler. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, Joe, I'll tell you this much. I'm very excited to see the development of Z as our champion, but I'm also curious to see how this relationship with Jake Hughes and the White Knight starts to unfold in the coming weeks.
Absolutely. I'm ready to see Jake Hughes' career finally take off.
That's right, and I'll tell you something. June 1st, 7 o'clock here at Popham's Gym, we're going to start seeing how all this unfolds. The rivalry with Chad Silva and Zach Blaine, and the rivalry, or now the tutoring of the White Knight with Jake Hughes.
Absolutely.
The Monster Z as our Ultimate Champion. This is going to be real interesting. And if you guys want to, once again, if you want to see some of these old matches, want to get caught up, go to OSWAentertainment.com. Go to our Facebook at OSWA Entertainment. And as well, you can also go to YouTube at OSWA Entertainment as well.
I tell you, BK, I'm excited for this summer. This is going to be an amazing summer for OSWA.
I agree. Thank you for your time, everyone.